Right now on the National Weather Desk, extreme weather from coast to coast. Blizzards, floods, and tornadoes are all possible today as winter comes alive in 2024. Our team of meteorologists and reporters is here to help you prepare as well as better understand the weather. We'll help you stay safe the next time you use your snowblower, and you'll also see what it's like to be a meteorologist in the cruise industry, and also the snow dog video that's going viral on our TikTok page.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Well, this is shaping up to be an incredibly impactful weather day across the country with large portions of the nation under a weather alert. So from blizzard conditions in the plains and Pacific Northwest to flooding in the Northeast to severe storms and potential tornadoes across the South. And that's where we're going to start this morning. A tornado touched down early this morning in the Florida Panhandle. Video from the scene shows trees down and car crashes along I-10. The storm's also whipping up waves along the Gulf Coast. We turn to Aubrey Spears in Florida, who's monitoring the situation.
I'm in Pensacola Beach right now, and just to give you an idea, right here is actually a set of steps. But from the wind just pushing all of this sand more and more this way, the sand has actually almost become level with the top step. And the wind just keeps growing stronger, just like these waves.
Well, that storm system is now moving east. Florida meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking it for us this morning.
We've got a big storm system moving across the country right now. Lots of snow falling up to the north and thunderstorms moving across the southeast this morning. There are active tornado warnings across the southeast with this cold front boundary moving across the country right now. An increased severe weather threat today. All of this orange that we're seeing across our southeastern and eastern states, that's an enhanced risk. That's a 3 on a scale from 1 to 5. Again, there have already been tornado warnings this morning. This threat will continue throughout the morning and into the afternoon. This line of storms moving through Georgia a little bit later today, closer to South and North Carolina at around 2 o'clock. And then tonight, this line of storms will push south and move down into Florida before skies clear early tomorrow morning.
Now to the nation's midsection, where blizzard conditions extend from New Mexico to Wisconsin. This is what it looked like driving into Colfax County, New Mexico yesterday. I mean, you could barely see the lines on the road. Now in Nebraska, police were closing roads in whiteout conditions. In Kansas, anyone venturing out on the roads found themselves snow covered, and heavy snow blankets roads across South Dakota. We have 2 reports this morning, starting with meteorologist Garrett Hyde in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who was out on the roads this morning.
Very uneven and slushy in some spots, especially those highway overpasses and whatnot are particularly slippery, which is kind of what you'd expect. But I mean, for the most part, at least even between highway and city, kind of still not great. We're not moving too quickly here. As you can kind of see there, the tracks here on the highway is just still not the greatest for the most part, and kind of hard and difficult as we do kind of fishtail just a little bit, going just a little bit slower here. So it is certainly still pretty slick out there as we do continue on, even with at least some of those road crews just starting to get out there. But I would imagine things likely would get worse too as we head throughout the rest of our morning, as we would expect a little bit more of that snow to pick back up once again. But again, yeah, at least in the meantime, still really just not the best road conditions out there for now, especially since it's been a little while since we've had a little bit of snow on the ground.
I'm Mitchell Dowding here in Boise City, Oklahoma. Here's what driving conditions looked like Monday afternoon. Snow drifts already starting to form in the bar ditches. Travelers are already being rescued by local first responders. This storm is expected to bring anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of snow, with wind gusts reaching 65 miles per hour plus. I talked with Cimarron County Emergency Management about their preparation for the storm.
Our locals are really independent and they take good care of themselves, but making sure that we're prepared for the influx of people in a small community is a huge concern for us.
The Sheriff's Department will be monitoring roadways to look for stranded travelers. Conditions are expected to worsen tonight and will likely continue into the Tuesday morning hours. Reporting in Boise City, Oklahoma, Mitchell Downing.
Now that system is heading east this morning, but it's not bringing snow to the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. It's actually going to be mostly rain and really powerful winds. And that's a major concern for communities that are still cleaning up from the weekend snowstorm. So when you take several inches of rain combined with up to a foot or more of snow, you get the possibility of dangerous flooding, as the winds will be strong enough to take down trees and power lines. Rhode Island meteorologist Christina Ernie is tracking the storm this morning.
Good morning. This big weather system with tons of rain associated with it heading up the eastern seaboard, already producing some severe weather, though, in the meantime in Alabama into Florida. As this continues to head up the eastern seaboard, though, flood concerns into the mid-Atlantic and up towards the northeast late tonight and into tomorrow with real high winds. But one of the biggest concerns here going to be flash flooding. Several inches of rainfall throughout the mid-Atlantic up towards New York City and into the northeast. Given how much snow fell just a couple days ago, will lead to some flood concerns starting tonight and through tomorrow. Flash flooding will be impacting evening commutes starting tonight from Washington, D.C. all the way into the Northeast. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Christina Ernie.
In the Pacific Northwest, a rare blizzard warning has been issued for the Olympic and Cascade Mountains today. Visibility could be near zero at times, with snowfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour. Seattle meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell looks at what to expect.
But to get a blizzard warning, that is extra difficult, downright dangerous, and in some cases impossible in terms of mountain travel. Not only do you get the heavy snow piling up, that'll certainly be in the cards on Tuesday and into Wednesday up in the Cascades, but you also get the wind factored in. Winds at times going to be howling over 60 miles per hour up in the Cascades for whiteout, blinding conditions that will go for well more than the 3 hours that are required for a blizzard warning to go into effect. It's going to be an all-day event, if not lingering into the middle of the week. The last time there was a blizzard warning issued for the Cascades in Washington was over 10 years ago, so these are very rare indeed. Last time was December of 2012, but we do have the blizzard warning in place for both the Olympics and the Cascades in Washington throughout the day on Tuesday. The high winds leading to whiteout, treacherous conditions there for Cascade crossing and travel. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell.
Snowflakes not letting up at Snoqualmie Pass for hours on end ahead of a blizzard warning.
It's definitely not fun driving in the snow.
Dawson LaPaula was surprised by the downpour of snow on his drive to Spokane. He had to pull over near the summit at Snoqualmie to get tire chains.
I don't want to get ticketed. $150 right now is better than $500 ticket that lasts a while.
Dozens upon dozens of semis and other vehicles stopped on the interstate to put on their chains. WashDOT anticipates their biggest challenge for their crews and most drivers will be poor visibility.
We're not only going to be seeing heavy snow with heavy winds that could cause blizzard-like conditions with poor visibility, but we're also going to start seeing some ice.
And a warning for those looking to recreate in the mountains. The Northwest Avalanche Center is expecting very dangerous avalanche conditions to develop. This because of a perfect recipe of this big winter storm and a weak snowpack.
So this is a time to keep well away from big, steep, open slopes and make sure you're not underneath them as well.
WashDOT is warning drivers that if they do have to go through the passes, to keep an eye on conditions as this storm develops.
Transportation workers call this a tug of war right here on I-90. The road is closed, then reopened, then closed again, and then reopened again.
You kind of just play it by ear. If it opens and it closes, I mean, it is what it is.
This trucker says his biggest hazards are often posed by fellow motorists.
Especially me right now being loaded, I really don't have to worry about much. When other people come and cut you off and it's icy like how it is right now, that's the scary part.
Well, of course, the snow also gives us a chance to have a little fun, and this video from Maine is certainly that. Check it out.
All right, show me what he's doing, and then I'll call him in. I don't know what he's doing.
Lindsay Russell submitted this to our station in Portland, Maine via Chime In. Now, given her fantastic laugh, we have to assume the boy and the St. Bernard are just fine. Now, if you want to see it again, we posted it on our TikTok page where it already has more than 40,000 views. And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can always find us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll talk with Royal Caribbean's chief meteorologist to find out about the importance of weather forecasting for cruise ships. Plus, tips to stay safe when cleaning up after a winter snowstorm.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Welcome back to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Mark Pena. Winter weather is here, and it's a good time to remind you about avoiding the dangers of cleaning up, specifically snowblower injuries. It may seem like common sense to keep your hands away from the blades, but as Barbara Morse learned, it happens far too often.
Snowblowers have become an essential piece of equipment for many homeowners, but after most major storms,
we'll often see, tens of people in the emergency room just at one center, in that day or the following day.
The National Emergency Surveillance System tracks those injuries.
They reported that from 2001 to 2016, there were about 93,000 hand injuries, including most commonly amputations, fractures, and lacerations, and that averaged out to be about 6,000 per year.
People trying to unclog snow from the blades.
The worst ones are the ones where we see, segmental injuries. So there'll be people that when their hand gets caught, they not only get, one laceration or possible amputation or partial amputation, it occurs in several areas.
That's because there are multiple blades that can do multiple damage.
You don't want to be doing this, your hand down the chute, or down in here, there's a series of blades. You wouldn't want to stick your hand, obviously, in there.
Even if you turn your snowblower off, those blades probably have some stored energy. The newer snowblowers come equipped with a stick specifically to clear clogged snow or debris. So use it, or a stick, or a broom handle, never your hand. And take it slow, especially when the snow is heavy.
Give yourself plenty of time. Everyone wants to rush and get out to work, and the weather's going to be bad, but those extra 5 or 10 minutes are probably not worth one of your digits.
A few other things from our two hand surgeons. When you know a storm is impending, clear debris in your driveway that may clog your snowblower. And if you do get a cut from a snowblower blade, even if it doesn't look bad, get it checked out to make sure it's not infected. For the National Weather Desk, I'm Barbara Morse.
Avalanches are even more dangerous than snowblowers. If you ever encounter one, you may think you could outrun it and escape to safety, but as Theron Zahn explains, it's simply not that possible.
Heavy snow has returned to the Cascades and the Rockies, and the forecast is for more. In fact, parts of the Cascades could see 2 to 3 feet of new snow over the next several days. Heavy snow on top of a previous snowpack, especially if it's followed by a rapid temperature change, can increase the avalanche danger. Always know the avalanche danger before you head into the backcountry, because here's a sobering stat. The average avalanche travels at 80 miles an hour, so you certainly would not be able to get out of the way. If you're headed to the backcountry, always have an avalanche beacon as well.
If you want to see more content like this, be sure to check us out on social media. You can find us on your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. In Austin, Texas, a quirky Christmas custom intended to bring holiday cheer is now a post-holiday headache, and the weather isn't helping. Meteorologist Chicago Windler explains.
It's a time-honored tradition in the Austin area to decorate the trees along 360 for the holidays. But after the holidays, what's left behind can have some really negative impacts. Highway 360, capital of Texas highway, is home to acres of ash junipers. Every Christmas, people turn these cedar trees we love to hate into sparkling, shining drive-by attractions.
If I'm being honest, I don't love this tradition. I try to appreciate it because I know Austin is known for being weird, and this is definitely like a uniquely weird thing that we do.
Instead of keeping Austin weird, volunteers turned out to keep Austin beautiful for its annual tradition of taking the decorations down.
Trash travels, so when it rains or when it's windy, a lot of these decorations can get into the environment.
We've had 2 rounds of rain since Christmas, and Keep Austin Beautiful's Lauren Langford says the result is already concerning.
Litter crushed in little pieces like this, like these Christmas ornaments right here.
Shards of glass, fallen ornaments, and other holiday debris blown off the trees lie just feet from Bull Creek. It's an environmentally sensitive watershed that's home to threatened and endangered species like the Jollyville salamander and golden-cheeked warbler.
All the water flows from gravity downward into this creek, so all of those lovely holiday decorations that are uphill from here can wash into this waterway.
Okay, it just keeps coming.
Shelby Orm is a volunteer on a mission.
Things like this are really tangible for people to understand when it comes to pollution.
Damaged decorations are trashed, while those that can be saved will be donated.
And also I saw a few trees that use edible materials to decorate the tree, which is a better option than plastic, obviously.
If people found out how much litter is left behind, that they might reconsider the decorations that they place on the trees, or maybe participate in a different holiday tradition.
And it's not just around the holidays, but a year-round commitment.
1, 2, 3.
In Austin, I'm Chicago Windler for the National Weather Desk.
Craig Setzer has a unique job. He's Royal Caribbean's chief meteorologist. Emily Gracie sat down with him to find out how he works with ship captains to keep passengers safe and comfortable while out on the ocean.
Most of the time, the weather's really good. I come in when there are what we call critical ship deviations, which means they might have to change their itinerary, or a port that they're going to might be impacted by the weather. And we have to figure out, are they going to miss that port? And if they're going to miss that port, is it going to impact the guests?
Are you the only meteorologist for Royal Caribbean, or do you have a whole team of meteorologists?
You know, it's surprising. I'm the only meteorologist, in-house meteorologist in the entire industry. There's kind of this attitude that I think is a little bit lagging the industry, which is, it was the weather, what could we do? And I'm like, no. We've gotten really good at predicting the weather, and we can take our weather margins, let's say, and kind of shrink them down so that normally when a ship might get into a storm, I can say, nope, we need to go a little bit farther away from it. And when looks like a storm's coming and I say, no, I think we can make it, then that kind of like gives better safety and even efficiency to our ships.
So a couple of weeks ago, there was like some very turbulent weather in the Gulf of Mexico, that low that formed and then kind of moved up the coast. Was that chaotic? Were you having to make the decision to bring in ships with that low?
We have a thing called the Jones Act, which applies to our ships. And the Jones Act means if you sail from a U.S. port, you must visit a foreign port before you return to a U.S. port. So I can't have a ship go from, say, Port Canaveral to Fort Lauderdale and back to Port Canaveral. They have to go to a foreign port. And so if we have a big low pressure system moving across the Bahamas, all of a sudden, I can't send any of my East Coast ships to the Bahamas. They have to go maybe south to Mexico or to Haiti or the Dominican Republic. So it's this constant challenge of, It's not managing chaos, but it's almost on the edge of managing chaos.
To hear more from Craig, including some interesting surprises he's learned on the job, check out this week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Mountains can have a major impact on weather. Meteorologist John Gum explains how they can impact snowfall.
Well, if you live near a mountain range, you know the mountains can have a huge impact on the weather. But it depends on what side of the mountain you live on, because both sides are not equal. This is a process we call orographic lifting. As air moves toward a mountain range, it's forced upwards, and that air, it cools off as it rises upwards. Well, as the air cools, moisture condenses out of that air, and what we tend to get is rain and snow as that air goes up the mountainside. That's what happens on one side of the mountain. But what about the other side of the mountain? Well, it's just the complete opposite. As that air moves down the mountain, it actually warms, and as it warms, that sinking air creates a dry zone on the other side of the mountain as it descends. We sometimes call this a rain or snow shadow that the mountain casts. So one side of the mountain wet and snowy, the other side tends to be dry. This is called orographic lifting and can have a major impact on weather around mountain ranges.
Thank you for joining us. For meteorologist Eileen Whalen, I'm meteorologist Mark Pena. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.